Yo, what's good, film fam? Your homie Jay Greene back right now with another review, and today we finna talk about The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, this movie stars Corey Hawkins, or aka Dr. Dre. This chick right here, I'm sorry, I'm dumb, I'm not even gonna attempt to say her name, and David Dastmalchian. And this movie was directed by Andre Overdal, which I remember him from directing the movie The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I thought was creepy AF. Now let's talk about The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This right here is a monster film at heart, and it's an old school style monster film at that. Meaning that this movie takes its time. We're gonna get some glimpses, some touches here and there of the monster throughout the film, but it's not until the last act of the movie, right, towards the end, that we actually see the monster in its full form and all of its gory details. So I'm gonna keep it real off the top. If you are not a fan of monster movies or Dracula in general, while I did enjoy this movie and I think it's worthy of a trip to the theater, if you're not a fan of those things, I don't think that this one is good enough to win you over. So the story breaks down like this. The ship, the Demeter, is going to sail right now from Carpathia to England, and they got some special cargo. While they're on that voyage, that cargo wakes up, gets loose. Next thing you know, livestock and certain people around the ship start to go missing or get found foobar. And that's all I can say without any spoilers. As a fan of classic monster flicks, I thought that this movie was great. I thought it was paced well, so we were able to get to know the characters just a little bit throughout, and I felt like it held great tension and suspense from the threat on the ship. It set up a nice little origin story for Dracula before he took on human form, as we've seen in most movies. And this story is basically based on 1 or 2 chapters out of the captain's log. So even though I am a fan of deeper character development and mythology, if we don't get all of those details in this film, and we really don't, I kind of give it a pass because of the fact that they state, look, this is really from one man's perspective. I really liked the look of the film. It takes place in the old age, if you will, and it felt real and lived in. And when it comes time for this Dracula type monster to do some damage, this boy ain't playing around. He ain't holding no punches. This man took care of business, and it was bloody fun. The acting was great from the entire cast. I thought Corey Hawkins was great as the lead, and I was happy to see him in there as the lead. His character had a nice little backstory as well, and it also added to his motivations in dealing with this monster on board in a certain type of way, and also gave us a little something to root for. Now, if I'm keeping it real, unfortunately, I don't think this movie is going to do well at all. I saw this one with my wife, and she wasn't feeling it much at all. She's not really into period piece movies, and she's not really into monster flicks at the same time. And you're probably wondering, well, why the hell did she go in the first place? Because she loves me and wanted to spend time with her boo thing. Aww. But even though we were of 2 different minds on how we felt about this movie, I could still see the points that she was making as to why she wasn't feeling it. I admit they are there for sure. And I feel like because it is that type of monster flick that is kind of like drawn out in a way, takes its time, it's very well paced in that regard, but at the same time doesn't really give a whole lot of character development or story plot points that will keep you entertained, aside from the fact of, yo, there's something loose on the ship that might lose a lot of people. That's why I feel like it's really not going to do so well. And ultimately, I feel like people would agree more with her than they would with me on this film. So if you're a fan of a monster movie that's kind of like the old school monster swag, where it takes its time a little bit, or almost paying attention a bit more to the characters in the film as opposed to the monster of the film, and then when the monster finally steps out of the shadows, is wrecking shop, then I do think that you're going to enjoy this movie and have a good time. I would encourage y'all to go check this one out. Let the studios know that we are still fans of monster films. But if you're like my wife, chill at the crib, get some red wine, watch it when it comes out on streaming. Your homie, Jay Greene, I'm out.